I call this meeting of the City of Lawrence Redevelopment Commission to order. The chair determines that there is a quorum. First order of business is approval of minutes for Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of August 22nd, 2024?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approval of the August 22nd, 2024 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approved. The next is approval of minutes. Mr. Johnson, do you want to go over, the claims and purchase orders for payment?
Pretty straightforward batch this month. My fee and Clark Quinn's fee.
Okay. Let's see. We have the claims here. Can we have a motion to approve the vouchers?
So moved.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, can I have all in favor of approval of the claims and purchase orders? Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The claims and purchase orders were approved for September of 2024. We don't have any old business, it looks like, and so we're going to go right into new business. Executive Director's report.
Thank you. It's great to be with you guys. Some of you took some adventures with me this past month, so I thank you for that. One, to look at a new prospective employer, and another to check out some landscape medians. So thank you, members, for making those trips with me. We've got an agenda that's heavily focused on real estate and engineering work today. And then thank you for making yourselves available for an executive session to get into some of our plans and target properties and the process to go about that. So we'll meet next door in our Use Authority offices. Thank you for that. The Purple Line should kick off next month, and the Indigo is going to do an event at the fairgrounds. So we're thinking we might like to do our own and do a little 3-stop tour in our stops on the district, and maybe end with a pint at Triton if we're so inclined. So wanted to let you know that city staff, the mayor, our commission, Reuse Authority, we're working on maybe a joint little gathering to do a stop once that is confirmed and up and running, that the Purple Line will be in works. So I will check in with all you guys on availability when we think that's going to finally happen. But that should be an exciting October for the Purple Line and for our connectivity across Indianapolis. I think that is a good place to stop, and then I'll have a little bit more explanation of what I've been up to for each proposal, if that works.
Gotcha. All right, so the next order of business is appraisals.
Yeah, thank you. So in order to purchase property, government needs 2 real estate appraisals, and that begins the process of how we can make an offer. So I think my one request is to share that I've ordered up 2 appraisals, and I would like your approval on those. And then I think the secondary request would be, for something below $5,000, I can have your pre-approval to go ahead and order those appraisals, and then I'll come back and get that secondary final approval from the board after I order them. So
Okay.
if I could have your support for those 2 real estate appraisals you have, and then a second motion that would sort of pre-approve me to be able to order appraisals in the future.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the appraisals for 9,347 Pendleton Pike and 9,215 Pendleton Pike?
Yeah, thank you. I should add, I consulted with our attorney before each of these actions, and if you wanted to add anything,
Please do. Yeah, you did exactly what I was going to suggest, which is you just mentioned them by reference, so that's all I was going to suggest in your motion.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the two individual appraisals, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in, the appraisals are passed.
For the second motion, you mentioned $5,000, under $5,000 for subsequent appraisals like this.
Yeah, the average is about 2,500 right now to conduct an appraisal.
So I think if you gave that authorization, then we wouldn't have to wait for a month meeting to come before Keith could execute them. Obviously, you would be reviewing them before they're paid because you have that claims voucher, so I think that gives a secondary check. And if you put that cap on it, then we're not out ordering, a bunch. But I think we just expedite the process a little bit instead of waiting for an entire month to move forward. So if you limit your motion to appraisals, amount not to exceed $5,000 per appraisal, that would be an appropriate motion.
Do we have a motion to give the executive director the authority to pursue appraisals up to $5,000?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of giving the executive director the authority to get appraisals up to $5,000, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.
Thank you very much. I was a State House lobbyist prior to this work, and I represented Lake County, and properties were so distressed in parts that the legislature actually allowed a unique law that on distressed properties, you could only do one because the appraisals were costing more than the land value at the time. And so it's just something we have to live by and a process that the legislature makes us do. So I appreciate that. The next item is bond council agreement. This is for Creek DeVault to review, in particular, the Monarch Beverage TIF and the unique bond structure and payment, and then our opportunities to potentially add, subtract, refinance. This is work that Russell doesn't do, and so unique bond council work. They're very experienced with this kind of work and with this property and the family. So I request your approval for this engagement with Creek DeVault that will allow them to give us a detailed analysis of where things stand and what you might be able to do in the future with the project.
Okay. Sounds good. Do we have a motion to approve Krieg DeVault to be the Lawrence Redevelopment Commission's bond counsel? Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of securing the services of Craig DeVault as our bond counsel, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looking forward to working with Craig DeVault.
Thank you. I should add, Dave Corbett is the point person on that project, and didn't ask him to be here, but he sends his regards, and you'll see him again soon. Thank you. The next is an engineering agreement for on-call services. There's two specific parts and tasks, one of which we've come and explained before, which will be to reclassify Record Street, and another will be to guide our process on the median work and approval from NDOT for when we get to make improvements to those medians. So this is HWC, and Scott Wilkinson is here. Should we have any questions or any explanations? Scott was kind enough to do a very detailed analysis and sit down and work with us on a potential application to the MPO, and we need to reclassify the road and make our project stronger.
Yeah.
That summarizes. But if
Yeah,
you
no,
want to
that's
introduce
right.
yourself.
Here, Scott Wilkinson, 135 North Pennsylvania. Before, so that's great. But I'm our director of transportation, extremely familiar with the reclassification process. I am not a landscape architect. We have a lot of great landscape architects to work on that aspect of it. But yeah, we definitely looking forward to your consideration of these two task orders to help continue the development process. So.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Sure, of course.
What are the types of things that you typically would see or make suggestions on You know, there's a lot of changes that have been on Pendleton Pike, and I remember the plan Build Lawrence plan, so I'm not sure if those two work together. Would you maybe suggest with roundabouts, things of that nature, or what is the kind of work for landscaper?
For landscaping, so we're really focused on the medians
Okay,
right now. So it's probably going to be, I would think it should be more low profile, lower maintenance. The key is going to be balancing, really the maintenance costs ongoing. Because the last thing we want to do is, put a lot of plants and a lot of irrigation and things. There might be some areas where you want that, where it makes sense, but we just don't want to do that everywhere. So probably going to be lower maintenance types, plants, trees, shrubs. There's a lot of different items you have to take into consideration too. So
Sarah and I went to Greenfield, where
Okay.
NDOT recommended we check out. That was one
Yeah.
of the more recent projects, and there were beautiful raised beds.
Yep.
And art features on the side, and so Greenfield spent a year after planning and designing and executing that work. So that's kind of like one part to the answer is you have to get approval from NDOT.
Yep.
Whatever we do. So I'd like some guidance on that process.
Okay.
And then Sarah will be particularly involved in helping us with the planting and landscaping needs.
Perfect.
And just design in general. So they're going to help with cost estimates
Yeah.
and construction and the filing of those plans with NDOT for the medians. For your broader question, the state still maintains total control of
Okay.
that road.
yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't dug into some of the traffic. I know just from what I see traffic pattern wise, roundabouts, you would hit capacity and exceed capacity very quickly. I'm not saying it's not feasible, but
makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I will just say that, do we have any other board members that would like to ask any questions?
I just want to ask, Scott, you said that you're specifically going to be working on the reclassification. Are there any things that you know about going into our particular project that you foresee having obstacles or just any sort of challenges to navigate, or is it a pretty straightforward?
For the reclassification, there shouldn't be, we already kind of talked about an approach to it, which may be a slight modification to the alignment going in towards 42nd Street. It kind of makes more sense from a connectivity standpoint because that's already a collector. So really the challenge is just proving the use. And the key is understanding that the whole goal with this is we're not reclassifying this just to try to get federal funding. We're reclassifying it because we're anticipating some development happening. We have to make sure that we can accommodate that development. And so that's really what we're doing here. So I don't foresee any right now, but as we kind of dig in a little bit more, we'll let you know. The nice thing about this type of an agreement too is it's completely hourly based. So if we come to a point and we've spent 10 hours and we're like, and we've talked to the MPO a little bit more and NDOT a little bit more, and they raise up there, and we will stop immediately, talk to you, let you know, figure out how to move forward. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that too, because we're not in the business to waste anybody's money here.
Can you say a word about the technical aspect, like reclassification, currently classified as, and what it will
Sure.
be classified to?
Sure. So it's currently classified as a local road. Now,
We're
within
talking about Record Street.
Record Street is a local road currently. And really, there's multiple levels of classification. There's typically local, collector, arterial, and then up to interstate and freeway. And then there's urban and rural and minor and major. The threshold at which the MPO and really federal funds can get obligated to a roadway is at a collector level. So really the goal here would be, and actually it meets the use of, the anticipated use of the facility would be a minor collector. So we'd be looking to go from a local road to probably a minor collector, an urban minor collector, in order to accommodate the future traffic demand.
Thanks.
Yep.
Oh,
Wanted to say a word on the contract.
why not, Russell? Come on up.
So two things. One is,
Thank you.
so the commission is aware, HWC is a client of mine. I did not participate in the negotiation of the contract, though I think I drafted this a long time ago, but I did not participate in the negotiation of this specific contract. And to Scott's point, I want to make sure you are clear on kind of how you're setting this up. You're setting this up as an on-call arrangement. So essentially, HWC is kind of on retainer, though you don't have to pay them to be on retainer, but they're on retainer. And then as a task comes along, we'd get a proposal, have a not-to-exceed amount included in it. That would be brought before you move forward on it. So the requested approval here today is two things. One is, actually, it's probably three things. You're requested to approve not the on-call proposal, or on-call contract generally, and then you have two task orders that are included in there. So one is the median landscape architecture work, and then the second is the reclassification. In each of those task orders, you will have various phases of the project, and you'll have not-to-exceed amounts included in those. So to Scott's point, there's a not-to-exceed amount in that reclassification number, but it's an hourly rate. So it doesn't mean you approve it today, they automatically get the $7,500 or whatever the task amount is. They got to earn that first, but they're giving you a cap on what that is. So I just wanted to make sure I walked through the structure of what you're actually considering and approving. I think you can do that in one motion. It'll be just a motion to approve the on-call contract in the first two task groups.
Can I anticipate the question? How is this different from a normal engineering design contract like we had done before the board had passed?
So these are more kind of an à la carte or kind of very project specific. They're generally much more limited in scope. Or you can have hey, we want you to review all of our design work that comes in with an annual contract amount not to exceed this. So you can do it in a variety of ways. This is a little different in that these are specific projects, they're very limited time engagement, and they don't have as many phases. So I think a lot of times in those bigger design stages, you would have, hey, we're going to get to here, we're checking in, and if the project moves forward, then we're moving to here, and then we're moving to here, and it will be obviously much bigger. So those design services would be generally a six-figure kind of contract. You're here talking about $7,500 and I think $21,000 total.
So anticipate the next one being a partial redesign of some of the Trades District road that have been done once we reclassify and reassess.
Thank you do we have any other questions for?
I have a quick clarification with Keith. So this is including the landscaping for the medians.
I'd say it's more about the submittal of our project. So it's not necessarily to do the landscaping or it's design plan, make sure that you're getting what you want out of it, and then they'll submit it to the state forest.
Okay. Because Liz will also be mad at me.
100%.
Yes.
This is not, 100%.
Before I go call for the vote,
It'll have to be bid, landscape services. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll just say, this is very important. Pendleton Pike is the gateway to our fair city. We want to make sure that it's as beautiful and as attractive as possible, and I think that HWC Engineering will help get us to that point. So do we have a motion for the on-call contract for HWC Engineering?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of?
Clarify if your motion is for the on-call contract and the two tasks, or are you going to do those as two separate motions?
Well, I can do the on-call contract and the two tasks. Let me recall my motion. Can I have a motion for a on-call contract for HWC Engineering and the two tasks? If I can have that motion?
So moved.
If we can have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the all-call motion with HWC Engineering and the two tasks, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. We're looking forward to it. Next order of business is the real estate broker agreement.
Thank you. Thank you. A broker, Joel Miller with Epps & Young, has been making calls on our behalf past 6 months. And as we consider purchase of a property and these appraisals, this authorizes Joel to serve as our official broker and potentially move as soon as we're ready to move.
That's Mr. Laddie.
So I request approval of that agreement. What's that?
What's the person's name again?
Joel Avis & Young contract.
Avis & Young? Okay, great, thank you. If I could have a motion for the Avis & Young for their real estate broker agreement.
So moved.
If I can have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the real estate broker agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Do we have any other business to come before the commission? Seeing none, do we have any questions or comments from our esteemed board members? All right. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second for a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
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 Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.